State Executive Committee woman, and I'm the fundraising chair for Montgomery County Democratic Party. I am so glad to see all of you here, and welcome. Some of you know this is our second kind of big fundraising event this season. Over the summer, we had our Blue South, sorry about popping that. We had our Blue South banquet, and now we've got our Blue South barbecue this evening. It's a time to celebrate being Democrats together, enjoying some wonderful food from legends. Yes. They reminded me this evening what good Democrats they are. Oh, good. And how happy they are to come and provide wonderful food for us. And music by Garrett. See, where did Garrett go? Oh, there you are. Garrett, thank you. Garrett, who happens to be one of the extended Uffelman family. And we're so glad he's here. I wanted to be able to thank several people. There are some donors who wanted to remain anonymous, but they made tonight possible. And so I think we should all give them a round of applause. We have people who are providing big gifts and small gifts. We have people who are providing financial support to help us elect Democrats in the upcoming election. But we also have people who are on the ground every day, working, providing elbow grease. And we want to say that both those kinds of gifts are very welcome and very necessary in this process. The money can't do it without the volunteers. And the volunteers can't do it without the financial support. So whatever your gift and your contribution to the party is, we want to tell you how much we appreciate your support, your continued support, and your belief in the importance of electing Democrats in Montgomery County, in Tennessee, and in DC. That's the bottom line. Whether you're talking about school board, whether you're talking about county commission, whether you're talking about city government, whether you're talking about the state, we need to be electing Democrats all the way up, and we need to be making that possible with this kind of support. We also have in the room some Blue South boosters, and I don't know if you just want to raise your hands. Some of you, Blue South boosters help us pay the bills. The Blue South boosters support the county party at a minimum of $24 a month, which we thought originally was approximately a Starbucks per week. That's how we came up with the $24 a month. But that $24 a month times each Blue South booster gives us enough money to keep sustaining our programs and our projects, not just with a big bump up every time we have an event and then drop down, but it keeps that money coming steadily, and that is so important as we get ready for the next election. So thank you to the Blue South boosters. I also want to thank all the volunteers. Some of them are out in the hallway. All the volunteers who have made today possible, and that's people in the fundraising committee, people on communications committee. Actually, every member of the county executive committee has been involved in some way or another in making today possible, and it's really important. I wanted to remind you, as if you need to be reminded, of the lovely items that we have in the silent auction today. Bid boldly and bid frequently. And I believe at 8:30 promptly, the bidding will close. You don't have to be present to win, but you have to be ready to pay tonight. If you're not ready to pay tonight, then it goes to the next person on the list. So I'm not going to be driving around to people's houses again this time. Oh my gosh. I love y'all, but we're not going to do that. We're a small enough party, I can still do that, but that's not sustainable. What you're really here for is not listening to me. You're here to get energized about what's coming. The importance of supporting our candidates and the importance of getting out there and either making phone calls or knocking on doors. And I'm going to first ask Marc to come up and as our first candidate, and he'll be followed by Allie in a couple of moments after that, and then Ronnie Glynn. So Marc Lewis, I'll let you introduce yourself. Thank you, Marc.
Well, I thought I had more time, so I was trying to run through some stuff in my mind. But anyhow, can you read back there? Yeah. All right, great. So my name is Marc Lewis. I come from a small town in Illinois. There's no other way to say it. I came from the ghetto, right? So where I come from, there's several options that you have. You have work for Burger King, McDonald's, do some things that will land you in jail or in prison, or join the Army or the military. So I joined the military. So I was in the military for 24 years, and along the 24 years, I was able to obtain a sociology degree, psychology degree, and a master's in public administration. That doesn't mean anything right now, but it'll tie into what I want to tell you about myself. So right now, currently, I work at Fort Campbell. I do a lot of cool stuff over there, working on the infrastructure for the installation, as well as doing good stuff for the soldiers, which is kind of where my heart is. So how do I get here? Well, I got here because I look on the news, and I told you I come from the ghetto. So for me, I had free lunch and all that other stuff. And then in the summertime, we had programs. But I look on the news and I see where, child nutrition and child care is looked at as being on the chopping block. So there's a reason why a child can sleep 8 to 10 hours a day. That's because his or her brain is developing. So if they don't have the proper nutrition, right, to feed that brain, when they get up in the morning, if they're not energized, if they don't have the vitamin A, D, and all them other things, that brain's not going to function properly. All right? So I'm all for that. Second thing, I have a daughter. Well, I'm in a state to where you have a man, not a woman, telling my daughter what she can and not do, what she can and she can't do with her body. Right. I want to let you know, I'm the father. Right. If I can't tell her what to do, how the heck I'm gonna let somebody else tell her what to do? I'm not ready for that. Right? So my daughter, she works for the school system, and my son, he's in the school system. So unlike them, you know what I'm saying? I stood up, I raised my right hand. I said, I do and I will. So send me to basic training, send me to war, because I signed up for it. They didn't sign up for this. So when she goes to work and he goes to school, he shouldn't be worried about the next mass shooting.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So gun violence, stricter gun laws, I'm all for that. So here's what you get with Marc Lewis as a candidate. Now, sociology. Growing up the way I did. I took sociology because I wanted to find out why it is, one, that I got out and other people didn't. Why is it that my community acted the way it did? Two, I took psychology. I wanted to find out why that individual in my community acted that way. And then after that, I took public administration because I wanted to tie my public administration into how do I take that community that I grew up in with these people thinking the way that they thought and make it better? Whether it's a project, whether it's a child care center, whether it's, something for teens to do, that's what I wanted to do, all right? So that's what you get with this candidate. And here's the other thing. There's a saying in the military, we don't know what we don't know. So maybe there's some Republicans out there that don't know that I got skin in the game. Maybe there's some Republicans out there that don't know that they have children that probably need some food. Maybe there's some Republicans out there that don't know that they have a wife, a daughter, a mother, a grandmother, that somebody's going to tell them what they can do with their body. And I'm pretty sure they have kids that go to school. They shouldn't be fearful of, is this 2 plus 2 or is that a bullet? It shouldn't be that way. So I plan to go through my District 68, no place that Democrats have gone before.
All right.
How many House District 68 do we have around?
Oh, I'm going to need your assistance. I will need your assistance because I'm going to knock on doors. I'm driving places that people hadn't been before, and I'm not afraid.
Thank you so much, Mark. And now, just the woman who probably needs no introduction, Allie Phillips. Here she is.
Hi guys. So hi Ronnie. Who invited him? Anyways, I love you. So Mr. Elfman over there told me to write a 2-minute speech because he probably knew that I'd talk for like 20 minutes if I didn't write it down on paper. So if I look down, that's what I'm looking at, is I wanted to make sure I hit my points because I like to talk. See, I'm already doing it. Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm so honored to be here, surrounded by people who believe and fight for the same things that I do. I want to take this moment to say that this is my very first public speech since I have announced that I'm running as a candidate. You're doing great! I told you I was going to pause for a clap, it worked. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Allie Phillips. I'm a lifelong Tennessean and a mom. Tennessee's been my home for nearly 30 years, and I've watched it change and grow. I moved up here to Montgomery County last fall with my then 5-year-old daughter and my husband, who's sitting over here. We were ready to expand our family, and in November of 2022, we found out that I was pregnant. And we were so excited to welcome a new addition. At 19 weeks pregnant, I went to my routine anatomy scan, and it was in that moment that we received the worst possible news. Our daughter, Miley Rose, was not compatible with life. My doctor told me that I had 2 choices. I could terminate my pregnancy or I could continue my pregnancy. But with Tennessee's ban on abortion, my choice to terminate was taken away from me. But still, we decided an abortion would be the best option to protect my body and life. So a week and 3 days later, I arrived to a clinic in New York City, only to find out that Miley's heart had already stopped beating. So my doctors were right that she was not compatible with life. And my entire world fell apart in that moment, and I fell into a very deep depression. I met with my representative, Jeff Burkhart, to try and change the barbaric law that's in place, only to find out how out of touch our politicians truly are. The lack of knowledge on women's reproductive health, it's just not there with them. So that is why I decided to run for the Tennessee House of Representatives, District 75. If you would have asked me, this isn't on my paper, if you would have asked me a year ago if I would ever think about running for office, it would have been a quick no. Running for office was never something I thought about, never something I thought I could do. Running for office, it's scary. There's so much that goes into it. And I felt like I was walking into a lion's den. But I figured out I'm the lion in that den. And we together have got to let these Republican men know that women are powerful, we're pissed, and we're coming. So I can't thank you all for being here again. If you would like to help me flip 75 Blue, I do have a website set up if you haven't seen it. It's Allie4tn.com. Donate, sign up for emails, volunteering. You can help me turn my pain into power. And that's what I intend to do. This isn't on my paper either, but I wanted to say a couple other things to kind of go off of Marc. Obviously, reproductive health is one of my top concerns because it affected me directly. But I have a 6-year-old daughter in our public schools, and I am terrified that one day she's not going to come home. And so I try to mentally remember what shirt she's wearing, what shoes she has on, in case her body's not identifiable any other way. Just public schools in general, our teachers should be paid accordingly. We're short-staffed. Our bus drivers were struggling, and it shouldn't be like that. I care about our LGBTQ community. I care about all of these different things. But reproductive health care is one of my top concerns because it affects almost, if not half of the people in this room. It actually affects all of you, men included, because you know a woman somewhere in your life. So I'm scared and excited, and it's going to be a crazy ride, but I'm honored that I get to do it and do it in my daughter's name. So thank you guys. Thank you.
It's really hard to follow behind Allie. You know, first Marc gets us almost in tears, then Allie.
Good luck, Ronnie.
And now we'll have Ronnie Glynn, Representative Ronnie Glynn, that's District 67.
All righty. B4. I'm not going to have you in tears. I may tell you a few jokes. So there was not a joke. I just want to take a little time to first recognize my beautiful wife over here, Sherry, who's here to join us tonight. Sherry, raise your hand and let everybody know who you are. And I was fortunate enough to bring my daughter and my son and my granddaughter. She only came to eat, though. She didn't really come. She came last year. She realized how good the food was. She said she was coming back, and she meant it. I mean, she meant it when she said she'd come back. She said, "When is that event again?" So she's here to enjoy some of this good Legends barbecue. It is a tough act to follow when Marc gets up and read off all his degrees, and I have one. Thank you, Marc. Allie gets up here and she's young and fresh into politics and tell you all about the great things she's going to do. And I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to stay up here long. I'm not going to try to top either one of them. But I will do is tell you a little bit about what has happened in the previous term that we just had. Most of you probably paid attention that there's a movement going on. If you watched the Tennessee 3, you saw what they done something that many that have been up there for years have not been able to do. And that was to energize the young folks.
Yeah.
That's why you see people like Allie, Ashton, I believe is her name, out of Nashville. Ashton. After tomorrow. Many of you have seen how they have come along and now they are energized. That is something that we have not been able to do, really. But you had the two Justins who really and truly turned out a group that had really not really paid attention to voting and politics. And so we have to take advantage of that. And not in a way to say to take advantage of them, but to take advantage in this voting block. Yeah. And to make sure that they understand what it means to vote and how that vote will actually change things in Nashville for the state of Tennessee. Yeah. So I'm excited to see Allie run. I'm excited to see Ashton. She'll get me later. She's sworn in now. But when I think about that, and I think about the things that they're going to be able to do when they get to Nashville, when they get down to Nashville, it's exciting. It really is. And I'm excited to go back because I know that the two justices are going to continue to bring people into the Capitol.
Yeah.
So they're going to be able to see what our legislation has done, which is absolutely nothing. Everything they've done is to take away. And so now it's time for us to regain that, get it back. And so I'm excited about it. That's why I want to make sure that we all understand that this election cycle, we say it every year and we'll continue to say it. It is probably one of the most important election cycles that we will have.
Yeah.
There is a lot riding on this, not just at the federal level. It's easy to get caught up in the federal level, right? It's easy. We see it on the news. If we sit and watch it long enough, we'll be locked in it. But what's happening here in Tennessee is really ugly. And it means it's ugly. Who's been paying attention to the news to know that the state wants to get rid of the $1.8 billion of education dollars?
Right.
I'm not quite sure where that makes sense at. Because if we had $1.8 billion that we could just throw in, we should have done that a long time ago.
Right.
And funded our public schools, paid our teachers.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden, we can fund it.
Yeah.
It was never missing. It was always there. But again, when you have a group that really and truly do not care, they will keep that money hidden and use it when it benefits them. That's not how we're supposed to legislate.
Right.
Who's watched and know that our speaker, right, has tried to silence the two justices,
Yeah. Yes.
kick people out of special session because they held up a sign. An 8x11 piece of paper was enough for them to say, get out. They literally kicked an entire group out of a session because they didn't like the sign. This is the things that we're dealing with then. And this is the things that have to stop. That's why it's so important that we vote. That's why it's so important and it's so exciting to see this young generation come through. Because they see this now. They know what we're dealing with. They know it. We sit there and we wasted 6 days of taxpayer dollars. Anybody know how many bills we passed? We passed some.
Well, if they were, they weren't.
They wasn't very effective. We passed 4 bills. You want me to tell you what one of those bills were? To make sure we got paid. I'm just being honest. One of the bills was to make sure that we got paid for our time. That's how ineffective it is right now. They literally passed 4 bills, and one was to make sure that we got paid. And we were there for 6 days. $58,000 a day in taxpayers' money for a total of 3 bills that did nothing to actually do anything about the gun violence in Tennessee. Nothing. One dealt with mental health, one dealt with TBI giving us a report that they already gave us anyway. It was really ridiculous. And that's why it's so important to pay attention. That's why it's so important to make sure you're not getting caught up with that foolishness in Washington. That's a world of its own. We need to be focused here. What's going on here? And how they're trying and really and truly trying to change the dynamics of Tennessee. We all know what will happen if they get their way with not receiving this $1.8 billion from the federal government. Then they get total control of the school. There goes diversity. There goes inclusion. There goes public schools.
Bye-bye special ed.
There go bye-bye special ed.
It's all gone.
It's all gone. It becomes a thing of the past. And for many of you who are teachers, retired teachers, and understand the importance of education, these things will leave. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to make all our schools some kind of private school, for profit to schools, so they can dictate the education. or indoctrination of our kids is really what it boils down to. You think that if they get control of the school, kids who are LGBTQ community, what do you think is going to happen to them in school? Black history.
It's gone.
All of it's gone. Look at what happened in Arkansas with Governor Huckabee. She's already said black history no longer is important enough to even receive a credit. You can take it, but you won't get a credit for it. So, I mean, it's heading that way. They're doing it down in Florida. Who knows that TSU, the only historic black college in the state, has been shorted over $2.1 billion. Who watched that? Who knows about that? Do you honestly think they're going to give that money back? I don't. They've already said it in their own way. They say it in the easy way. Well, let's not look back, let's look forward. Well, of course let's look forward, because I don't have to owe you if I look forward. But $2.1 billion, how many additional kids could have been educated with that money? We could go to TSU and not see old buildings, kids living in insane conditions. But that's what we're dealing with. That's the kind of side that really and truly care less about what's going on in Tennessee. They only care about those donors of theirs. So it's important. It's important that we make sure that we do not discourage this young generation that's coming out to vote. It's important that we make sure that they understand, that they get to the polls, that they know that it is work. It is work to get elected. It is work to get those elected that you want to see in office. And there'll be many days that you want to stop. You want to just go home and leave it alone. But you can't, because the election hadn't happened yet. And if you're dealing with Chaz, he'll make you walk in the rain. If you're dealing with Chaz, he'll make you knock on doors in the rain.
Yeah.
I know, because he made me do it. I said some choice words to him, but he didn't really matter to me. He said, okay, you finished? All right, here's your neighborhood. So he didn't really care what I thought about that. I walked in the rain. And I mean, but it was important.
Yeah.
Because here I stand as Representative Ronnie Glynn.
Yeah. That's right.
And the last I heard, there was a word on the street that Representative Ronnie Glynn was going to run for re-election.
Yeah.
So my wife didn't know that. She do now. No, I'm just playing. She knew about that. But anyway, yeah. So I will be running for re-election, and so it's important that we continue to keep 67 blue. It's important that we turn 75 blue. It's important that we turn 68 blue. And once we do all that, what happens to District 22? It becomes blue. Montgomery County really and truly is, if you do not know, really and truly is the gateway to the Blue South. We talk about it at every Democratic meeting that we have. We know what it means to flip Montgomery County blue. It changes the entire dynamic of the state. Hear me when I say this. It changes the entire dynamic of the state of Tennessee. I'm not saying that just because it sounds good. I'm saying that because it's true. Tennessee, Montgomery County, really is the gateway to the Blue South. We flip Montgomery County, we flip Tennessee. Trust me, there'll be no more Marc Green. We removed, what's her name? Marsha. Yeah. The one who shows up, long enough to say she was here. But nobody knew she was here. I forgot what she was at the other day, acting like it was so important. But we really do become a different state. We turn Tennessee blue. So let's make sure again that we're encouraging our young folks, those that are in high school, your kids, or if you know kids that are going to be turning 18, ensure they understand what it means. Let's get out there, let's make it happen, and let's turn Montgomery County blue.
All right.
Well, we're here, and we're going to be making this commitment as a group, as a county party, as individuals, to do whatever it's going to take to keep Ronnie Glynn in 67, to get Marc elected, to get Allie elected, and it's going to take all of us together. I wanted to bring your attention to one more group of people that you might not realize are here, and those are our high school and college Dems. Would you stand up? Leland High School, please stand up, please. And then, okay, those are my college Dems in the back. There you go. The college Dems have been volunteering tonight. Leland is a high school student trying to get high school Dems started in this county. And the college Dems are getting revitalized at Austin P. Thanks to those lovely students and many more. And we talk about the youth being the future of our party, but they are the present of our party. And our young voters need to understand how important their vote is, and that how powerful it is to have young voters among us. You know, they'll be helping us with all kinds of things along the way, but their vote and getting other college students to think about how powerful their vote really is. When people on campus say, and I've got several colleagues here in the room, say, oh, you know, the students will say, oh, well, my vote doesn't matter. Oh, yes, it does. Yeah. And I know my high school Dems are a little ahead of the game for voting, but the college Dems, you're right on. And we need you, and we appreciate you so very much. Without further ado, here is the chair of the Montgomery County Democratic Party,
I told everybody that we're all going to speak for 2 minutes and we'll be done by 7:15. 6 o'clock Chaz was very naive, but we're almost done with the speaking. A year ago, we gathered in this room, in about a week, and Tina Brown, there she is right there. Give it a hand to Tina Brown. Sang for us and cut it up in here, and we heard from Odessa Kelly, Jason Martin, and Ronnie. And at the end, I laid out what was at stake. And we were in a very different position as a county party. The barbecue was like the first event back where we were really going and everybody was together, and we raised $7,000 or $8,000 at that event. Before this event started tonight, we had raised $7,000. So that's before everything else is going to come in and the silent auction. So great job to everyone. That night, what I told y'all was we're on the brink as a county at that point in 2022. We were about to hit bottom. If we had lost District 67 and Ronnie Glynn had lost and we'd had a Republican take over, there would be people across the state that would have pulled out and given up on Clarksville, Montgomery County, but we didn't. It was really hard. Yes, I made Ronnie knock doors in the rain. That's a true story. It was like 3 weeks after the barbecue. It was like 2 weeks before Election Day. It's raining, Chaz. What are we going to do? I said, we're going to knock doors. We're going to knock doors today. And election night, we're sitting there, and we have folks getting the results for us, and it's coming in, a little worse, just a few points worse than I thought it was going to. And I was waiting on early voting to come through. I think we had 1 or 2 boxes missing, and I had someone down at the Election Commission. And I was nervous, and I was rethinking, what if we knocked more doors? What if we raised more money? What if we done this, and that? And then the last boxes come into the Election Commission, and Ronnie wins by 153 votes. And that's because of all the work you did. You kept us from falling into the abyss. If we had lost that seat, it would take us years to get it back. But we haven't. And that's our power base going into 2024. So you're going to hear a little different speeches from me moving forward. You're going to see a little different posture from the county party moving forward. A lot of y'all are new, brand new to the county party. So you're experiencing what it's like to be on the inside for a whole electoral cycle. First 6 months has been all about our officers and raising money for the county party and painting the office and, doing things for the party. But the party is just a vehicle. It is not a club in and of itself. It does not serve its own purpose. It is there to elect the people you heard from before. I am secondary. All the officers in this party are secondary to our candidates because we believe in the values, and we cannot legislate our values unless we win races. Now, since our last event, the banquet, I was hired as the director of the Joint House and Senate Democratic Caucus. And I'm going around the state. Thank you. That gives me a front row seat of what's happening in other counties. And let me tell you, we are the best county in the state. We have 4 likely and confirmed good candidates for Senate, for all 3 House seats. We know who they are. Y'all have met them, and we're fired up to elect them. And we're raising money. We're doing all the things early enough to make a difference. But it does mean we have to hit the gas. Everyone in this room is doing exactly what they need to be doing. But we do need more people. So as we continue to grow and go towards Election Day, I need all of you to dig deep into your contacts as we have more events. We're going to have a holiday party. And I do want to shout out Ronnie's first re-election fundraiser. It's going to be December 7th. It's a Thursday night. It's going to be here in Clarksville. And it will be headlined by Miss Tina Brown. So we're going to have a good time. So keep an eye out for that. Normally I'm like, just give more to the party. Also be giving to candidates. They have to win. I know Allie is already killing it in fundraising. I know Marc's going to be firing it up soon when he announces. So keep all these candidates in mind. To be telling your friends, do not keep that light under a bushel. You let it shine. We're going to have to build a big team. As big as our team was just to elect Ronnie, we need 3 or 4 times that for these 4 races. That's the mission. Does everybody understand the mission?
Yeah.
Elect Democrats. Say it with me. Elect Democrats. That's what we're going to do in 2024. I'm so glad to have y'all on board. And Garrett, come play us the rest of the night. Let's go. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
I gotta go check my silent option.
Reminder, the silent auction will close promptly at 8:30. You need to keep.
Thank you for joining us.
Keep watching your items.
And
And those.
I'm glad you all got the opportunity to hear some of the speeches from some of our candidates. And once again, thank you for joining us, and much love from the Montgomery County Democratic Party.